Most people think something in their body is broken, that it's failing, or wearing out faster than it should. But the body isn't malfunctioning. It's responding to stress, to overload, to constant signals that say, stay alert, stay ready. The body is intelligent. It adapts to what it's given. When life stays fast and demanding, the body doesn't prioritize repair. It prioritizes survival. That's why symptoms don't appear randomly. They build quietly, often long before you notice them. This isn't about fixing yourself. It's about understanding what your body has been protecting you from. The body doesn't work in isolated parts. Nothing operates alone. Every system is in constant conversation. Your nervous system sets the tone. Your digestive system responds to it. Your hormones adjust around it. Your immune system follows its lead. When one system stays under pressure, the others compensate. That's how the body keeps you functional. If digestion slows, energy gets rerouted. If stress stays high, repair gets postponed. If inflammation rises, circulation adapts. Not because something is wrong, but because something else is being prioritized. This is why symptoms often move around. Why one issue fades while another appears. Why people chase fixes that never quite hold. They're treating the signal, not the system. The body is always choosing what matters most right now. Survival before comfort, stability before optimization, alertness before rest. Healing doesn't mean forcing the body to change. It means changing the environment the body is responding to. When signals of safety increase, systems begin to cooperate instead of compensate. Circulation improves, digestion softens, hormones recalibrate, inflammation quiets. Not all at once, not dramatically, but predictably. This is why subtle inputs matter more than aggressive ones, why consistency outperforms intensity, why ancient systems focused on rhythm, timing, and support. The body doesn't need to be pushed. It needs to be allowed. And once you understand how the systems talk to each other, healing stops feeling mysterious and starts feeling logical. Most people expect healing to feel obvious, strong, immediate. But real healing almost never announces itself. It starts quietly, because the body doesn't heal by creating sensation. It heals by removing load. When stress drops, nothing fires. When inflammation eases, nothing activates. When the nervous system softens, nothing demands attention. The absence of tension feels boring to a system that's been on high alert. That's why people miss it. They're waiting for relief to feel dramatic, when relief actually feels like nothing happening. Healing often shows up as sleeping slightly deeper, breathing a little slower, digestion, feeling less urgent pain, becoming less sharp before it disappears. Not gone, just quieter. The body restores balance by lowering noise, not by adding stimulation. This is also why subtle support works better than force. For example, take chamomile. Most people think it makes you sleepy. What it really does is signal the nervous system that it's safe to stand down. That's a small signal, but it changes everything downstream. Once safety increases, the body reallocates resources. Repair turns back on. Circulation redistributes. Inflammation no longer needs to shout to be heard. Healing feels subtle because the body is moving toward neutrality. And neutrality doesn't feel exciting. It feels stable, calm, unremarkable. But stability is where real healing lives. Stress doesn't just live in the mind, it lives in tissue. When the body stays under pressure for too long, it shifts into protection mode. Muscles tighten, digestion slows. Blood flow prioritizes survival over repair. Inflammation isn't the problem, it's the signal. It's how the body says, something is too much. But modern stress never turns off. Screens, noise, deadlines, poor sleep, constant stimulation. So inflammation stays elevated, even when there's no injury to heal. Over time, the system overloads. Pain becomes chronic. Fatigue becomes normal. Small imbalances stop correcting themselves. This is why forcing the body rarely works. More supplements, harder workouts, stronger interventions. They add pressure to a system already maxed out. Real support works in the opposite direction. It reduces input. It improves circulation without strain. It calms the nervous system first. When stress lowers, inflammation follows. Not because it was attacked, but because it's no longer needed. Healing begins when the body feels it doesn't have to defend itself anymore. That's the shift. Herbs and minerals don't work the way most people expect. They don't override the body. They don't force outcomes. And they don't replace intelligence that's already there. They support what's already happening. Minerals act like raw materials. They're the cofactors your body needs to complete reactions. Without them, systems stall. Not because they're broken, but because they're missing what's required. Stress burns through minerals faster than most people realize. That's why fatigue, tension, and poor recovery often show up together. Herbs work differently. They act more like signals than substances. Instead of pushing, they communicate. They tell the nervous system to soften. They encourage circulation to open. They support digestion without forcing it. That's why herbal effects feel gentle. They don't create a spike. They create permission. Traditional systems understood this. They didn't use herbs to overpower symptoms. They used them to restore rhythm, timing, balance. For example, a calming herb doesn't knock you out. It reduces noise so rest can happen naturally. A circulatory herb doesn't force blood flow. It supports movement where tension has been holding it back. Herbs and minerals work best when the body is ready to cooperate. They're not cures. They're not shortcuts. They're support used to help the body return to balance on its own terms. When people search for healing, they often look for a single answer. One herb, one supplement, one fix. But the body doesn't work that way. Healing is coordination, timing, signals lining up instead of competing. That's why relief can feel inconsistent when pieces are added without understanding the system underneath. It's not that support doesn't work. It's that the body hasn't been given the right conditions yet. This is what everything on this channel connects back to. The drinks, the herbs, the minerals, the remedies. They aren't meant to replace the body's intelligence. They're meant to work with it. Understanding comes first. Support comes second. Application comes last. If you've been watching the shorter videos, this is the larger picture they fit into. Nothing here is about forcing change. It's about reducing interference so the body can do what it already knows how to do. That's the foundation. And from here, everything else starts to make sense.